Hello, today we are going to talk about how to create a notepad application, so a simple text editor in Delphi. Okay, what is a notepad? This application in Windows. In this case it has a status bar, ours probably will not have. It has a main menu, our application will have a main menu, has a title bar, our application will have a title bar, and then the main component, the main part of the text editor is this white rectangle, which is the actual text, multi-line text edit control. So we can write text and save, select all, copy. Okay, don't save. So first of all, let's start Delphi. So I'm pressing the Windows key on the keyboard to start the start menu, or the Windows Start menu, or I'm clicking on the Windows Start menu icon, the top left from the leftmost from the taskbar with the tooltip Start. And then I start to type right away. I don't click anywhere, I start to type DL. And it says best match Delphi 10.4. And then I press enter. Okay, so now we have two Delphis, which is not the best thing that we can have. I'm not even sure if we can start two Delphis at once. I always had just one started at most. So we go File, New, and we want to create a project. So what type of a project? We don't want web. We don't want unit test. We don't want ActiveX, database, other unit tests. We don't want a unit.pas file. We want to start with a Windows only application written in Delphi, which has GUI, a main form. So no multi-device, but Windows one. So what can we choose from? FireMonkey is a cross-platform GUI, not a Windows native UI. Windows Metropolis, I don't know what it is, but it smells like not Windows native. VCL Frame, this is not a project, this is just a class. VCL Form, another class. MDI application, no. SDI application, no. Control panel, no. Windows service, no. DLL, no. I know what the package is. So the best match is Windows VCL application. So here, graphical user interface application using Windows native controls, yes. Using the Windows native VCL framework, so visual control library. This is Windows only technology. It uses native Windows API DLLs and might have some assembler in there. x86 assembler. Okay, so we choose this thing. We go OK. And now, again, we have just one single Delphi started and running. And in the project view, projects, we have project group 1, which is saved in the wrong directory, which we have a project1.dproj, which has the wrong name and in the wrong directory. So the first thing first, we need to save all, file save all. and I'm using my Orthodox file manager. I created the directory for today's experiments 0727. And now I need to make a directory for this solution and project. So I go F7, notepad tutorial, Control A, Control C, so notepad tutorial, okay. Let's create a readme file in here. Okay, I'll paste the name of the tutorial. And now I need the entire directory, so I click on here somewhere, if I'm lucky. Right click, Control C. So I go paste. So in the file name, file save as dialog, in the file name edit box, I put the full path to the directory where I want things to be saved. And this is not unit 1, but what? We'll use the U prefix for a unit file. So we go U main form, save, and then the project is named notepad tutorial, Control V, in the same directory, correct, save, and then I also need to save the project group. And this is the let's have it use the same or not. Notepad tutorial, Delphi casing, Pascal casing, group. Project group, okay, and the correct extension and the correct directory. Save. Let's look at the directory. So now we have the readme file. We have a group proj, which is equivalent to Visual Studio Solutions, and is an MS build file. Then we have the dproj file, which is an MS build file, which doesn't do much, but it sets some environment variables, directories, etc. And then it says that the entry point is notepad-tutorial.dpr. So dprojects are new to, I don't know, Delphi, post Delphi 7. And this thing, the DPR file, used to be the project in probably Delphi 7 or something, or earlier. So this is another. So there's two project files, notepad-tutorial.dproj and notepad-tutorial.dpr. The DPR is a valid Delphi source code file which has a begin and an end. So it's the main entry point for the executable, and uses the keyword program to name the executable, the resulting executable. Okay. So before anything, let's run this thing. Run. Okay, so it compiled it, and where did it put it? Task Manager, right click on the Start menu, and then Task Manager. We go Details, and we want the full path. Right click on the description column header, select columns, what we want, what we do not want. We do not want status, okay, but we do want command line, and maybe image path name. Okay. Let me close the description for a while. I don't really need it. Okay, double click on the separator between image path name header and column name header. Double click. Okay. So I see the antivirus doing things, which is totally not okay with me. Why is it doing things? Local group policy editor, Windows components, Microsoft Defender, antivirus, turn off, Microsoft Defender antivirus, enabled. So Windows Defender is turned off, still it's using resources. Don't know why. Do not want any antivirus or file indexer or something running in the background to mess with my compile times. Okay, so we have this application, which is a notepad tutorial, which has a form 1, which go to details. Where are you? Is the process name notepad tutorial.exe, and it's from my directory where the source code is, and then Win32 debug. And we know it's not 64-bit. And the command line is just the full name of the so just the full name of the executable is the command line, and let's find it in on the hard disk. So it's the Win32 debug directory. So we're using build configuration, debug, and 32-bit. So the umainform.pas file was compiled to a DCU, umainform.dcu, and then probably the notepadtutorial.dpr file was compiled to notepadtutorial.exe. Let's see what dependencies does this application have. So only Windows dependencies. So we can, this entire application is just one exe file. We can copy it to move it around to another machine. By just copying the exe, the application will work correctly on any machine, which is statical linking. Okay, so now we have the main form. Let's look again how it looks like. So it has an icon in the taskbar. That's what we want. The context menu to pin and to close. Shift, right click, minimize, maximize, move size, correct. The title bar form 1, which is wrong. And the menu, where if you click on the application icon on the title bar, you can see the window menu. It has the correct elements, so we should be able to maximize the application and close and minimize. So let's do first the name of the form. Okay. So the name of the file is umainform, which is correct. But then where is the properties? View, tool windows, properties, object inspector. This. Okay. So we see that the class is named form1, which is wrong. How can I see the source of this thing? Okay, like this. So the type is incorrect, should be the main form. Let me see if we have a refactoring aid. Refactor rename. Okay, let's go the main form. Okay, apply the refactoring. So is the main form in here? The main form in here. Where's the save all button? Okay, and where else? Okay, let me save the layout. Where is that thing? This is a default layout. Save desktop default layout. Yes. Okay, how do we see the source code of the DFM file? So there's a pair of files, umainform DFM and umainform.pas. So the PAS is a file which is meant to be edited by the developer, and umainform is a separate file which is meant to not be touched by the developer in a text editor. So it says mainform, everything's okay in here. This file is just the serialization of whatever is shown in the Delphi's forms editor. So this is the Delphi IDE form editor. Whatever it does, whatever we change on the UI will be serialized in this file umainform.dfm. So we should not edit the umainform.dfm file by hand. Okay. Back to the object inspector. Select the form. Properties. The form has the wrong name. The name being either text or I see caption in here. So main form. This thing should be notepad tutorial. Notepad tutorial. Then I press enter. Save everything. Run again. F5 to run. Okay. I close it. And Delphi will just refuse to use the size of the window that I give it. So I want it to just take the half left of the left half of the screen. Okay. What else? We need a multi-line text editor control and a menu. Let's hunt for those. So we want palette, we want menu. So there's two menus. There's pop-up menu, which is the context menu, and then there's the main menu. So we just double click on the T main menu. Okay. And then we go right click on this menu designer. And now we need to create a menu which is similar to Notepad. Okay, let's resize, make the application window really small. So we need a file and an edit. So we go, where are you, file? And with ampersand before file. So we go enter. So this is F, this is E. Okay, let's put the accelerator E on this one. So we go and, where are you? And edit. Okay. What does the edit menu have? Undo, cut, copy, paste. Let's do that. Undo. Enter. Then we want a separator. That's, I don't know, minus. Okay. And then cut, copy, paste. Where are you? Paste. And let's have select all. So separator. And then select all. Was the capitalization used? Lowercase a. So it's sentence capitalization, not title capitalization. Or the new title capitalization style, not the Chicago one. Okay, file. We need an open, a save, and an exit. And the new. Okay, new. Open save as. As with lowercase a, I'm guessing. Yes, and then separator and then exit. Separator minus exit. Okay. So now we can close the main menu editor, save everything and run. Let's see how it looks like. So we have a file, main menu, the notepad tutorials applications main menu with two items, file, new, open, save as, exit, and the other item is edit, undo, cut, copy, paste, select all. Okay. The next thing to do is to put an icon in one of the main menu item elements. So we'll put this one as new. How do we do that? We need a GIMP. We don't have one, so let's get it. GIMP portable, where are you? Okay, let's put it in ctemp bin, save. And this is the extension PAF, which is portable application format, and then .exe. So this is just a glorified self-extracting zip file. Okay. We'll wait for the download to finish. Let me see if there is a way to tell Delphi to not change its window size. View desktops. Save desktop default layout. Place. Okay, so it finished downloading. Back to the file manager. It's an exe, so we go double click on it. English, next, no additional languages, ctemp bin, git portable correct. Many DLS because it's in fact a distribution, so it contains a ton of Linux things like libturbo JPEG and SDL and deflate and GNU TLS and halfbuzz and iconv and curses and Theora and I even see a web browser in there. Python distribution, GTK, glib. Okay, so we'll create a snapshot of this icon, the Notepad tutorial dproj icon, which is an unknown file type Windows icon, and we'll put it as file new icon. So the icon for the element file new in the main menu. Okay, finish. It's in here. The mouse cursor is too small. I will go to settings, mouse pointer size. And control panel. Mouse. Okay, distinct pointers. The Windows default scheme is okay, but we need the large version at least. Okay. So we close this thing. We terraform the GIMP. So what's this? Brushes, fonts, patterns, document history. Close this one, close this one, close this one. I need the document history. I put it on the first column if I can. Not easy to do. Okay. Layers, yes, I want layers. Okay, no channels, no paths, no right toolbar, hand side toolbar. Okay, let's do a print screen. Screenshot. The entire screen go. Okay, select tool, control scroll to zoom. Select the, where are you? Select this thing, control C, edit, control shift D, create from clipboard, control scroll to zoom. And let's see the size of this thing. Where are you? So it's 12 by 16, so 16 height and 12 width. So I need to make it wider. In this direction, in this direction. And now it's 14 by 16, still one extra pixel in here and in here to make it a rectangle. Okay, Control C. File create from clipboard. It looks kind of okay, but it's not semi-transparent. We can fix that if we want. Export as. And my assets I usually put in the same directory. I create a subdirectory in here, so we go F7 to create a subdirectory with resources. Like this. Okay, copy the path. And it's named file new .png. Okay, export. Right click on the menu designer, file new, this item, and we need to look at the images. So it has an image name or an image index. Image index means that it wants me to create a image list. Or I could just give it a bitmap in here. Let's do it with image list because that's more traditional. So we need the palette, image list, the image list, double click on it. These are so-called non-displayed, non-visible Delphi controls. So I usually put them at the bottom of my form. So image list has the wrong name, should be main image list. Okay. Then I edit the images inside. I go add resources, file new, open, fill color, transparent color. It probably doesn't like the fact that it's not transparent. We'll see if this white is too ugly, these two columns of white that I should have replaced with transparent. See, then I'll edit the PNG file with GIMP and remove the white and add transparency in there. Okay, I don't know what it's asking in here. So I go apply. Okay. And now back to the menu. It's called main menu 1, which should be just main menu. Let's see if it's possible. Yes. Okay, right click on it, menu designer, new. And then I go image index, image name. So I need to select the image list somewhere. Index. How do we set image lists for control? I don't know. One. Enter. Okay, let's search the internet for this thing. So Control T, Delphi, how to set an image list for menu. So I dropped the T main menu. I dropped a T image list on the form. I opened the image editor. I added the bitmaps, images property of the T main menu. So I select the T main menu and it's images, an image list. And now I can go into the menu designer. I go new, and then what's this? Image index 0. Let's see. Yes, so this is it. It did the transparency thing almost okay. Okay, so this is the way we add icons to menu items. We use the tool palette to put on the form a T main menu and a T image list. We populate the image list with the PNG, JPG, ICO, GIF files that we want. And we create the main menu using its editor. So both the image list and the main menu have an editor by right clicking on them. So image list editor and the menu designer. Okay. So the next thing to do is to set this big gray empty area to be the multi-line text editor. So again, from the palette, now use text. Edit. So could be t-edit. But it's not called t-edit, it's called memo. This guy. So how do we know? We go in the standard list of Delphi controls, and it's only 20 of them, so it's not an action list, it's not a panel, in a panel, a radio group, group box, scroll bar, combo box, list box, radio button, checkbox button. Could be a memo, could be an edit, not a label. Labels are read-only, not a pop-up menu or a main menu, not a frame. So it's one of these two, and you take a t-edit and you try to find its multi-line edit property. Does it have such a thing? Multi? No. Right? It's just one line only. So they split the same control, the edit one, to be two controls in Delphi. The single line edit is called edit. Or not. How do I put a new line in here? Shift new line. I don't know how to do it. Okay, so the correct name is tmemo. I double click on it. It places a random size for the memo and on random coordinates on the main form. So I want it to have the correct name, which is main memo. Okay, and I want it to be kind of maximized, so to take the entire size of the window. So how do we do that? Has a word wrap property, I like it. Constraints. No constraints. Align this thing should be align client, this guy. Okay, and now we do not want bevels. Let's save and run and see if it has jarring bevels. It does have one. Okay, let's resize the window. It works correctly. Let's maximize. Correct. Minimize, restore. Okay. Now we don't want this text to appear by default, so the content of the text of the tmemo should be empty, which is called lines. This guy should be empty. Okay. So now we have the tmemo. It's about time to do a git commit. Where is git? We don't have git yet. Let's get git. We want Windows. We want 64-bit and portable. Into temp bin, yes, save. Okay, next. Portable git, double click on this thing. On the installer, it says, do you want to install in ctemp bin portable git? Yes. Okay, we only use git cmd. Mark copy names with path to clipboard. This guy. And then we paste it in the command line. Okay, so we're inside git. Now we can go git config -l. Okay, it's auto crlf true. I never do that. So it should be destroyed in some way. Package git auto crlf. What are the possible values? So I need these two, and I need a pager. Autocorrect was that. Colors. Okay, so let's first do the configuring of username and email address. Control C, right click, like this. Email address, Control C, right click, and email address. Like this. And then I want to destroy autocrlf. I want this thing global. Copy. So never mess with my if you're a Windows programmer doing a Windows only, it's not the case. It just don't change my CRLFs. I handle those. False. Okay. And now we go git init here. And then we go git GUI. Okay. So we do not want underscore and underscore history, which means we need a .git ignore for Delphi. This guy. Raw. File save page as. We give it this directory. Control C. And we delete the Delphi. Control V. So the name should be just .gitignore. Okay. Rescan. Wrong extension. Should not have any extension. Where are you? Shift F6. We delete the extension. Rescan. So we have a gitignore. We have a readme. We have the SLN solution in Visual Studio. We have the CSprosh in Visual Studio. We have the other, the pair of the project file. For resources, we want the main form has a pair of files, a pass and a DFM file, and then we have a PNG in resources. Okay, initial commit. Okay, what's next? Next we want the file exit action to work. So we go main menu editor, menu designer, exit, name, should be exit menu item, and double click on it. It takes us to the object inspector, exit menu item of type tip and menu item, at the event, on click, and implements that event. So it names it correctly, which is exit menu item click. So we want tab and then application exit or something. Close. So it seems that in order to close the application, we probably need application.terminate. Hold. What is that? Close. Who knows? So main for them dot close. Application terminate. I always put empty parentheses when I call a function or a procedure, even if it's not mandatory. Control S, F5, file exit. Okay, looks good. Now we need other actions. So edit, select all, object inspector, properties, the same thing with all of the other menu items in the main menu. So first we select that menu item, such as select all, then we name it correctly, menu item. No, so select all, and then the type, so menu item, without a T. The menu item is the name of the type, so the name of the type is T menu item, but without the T. Select all menu item, correct. Let's name all of those. Name, paste menu item, cut, copy. Cut menu item. Do menu item. New menu item. Open. Save as menu item. And exit menu item. Okay. Let's a bit run the application. Run should save the application first. So how does it look like? Let's write a simple Control A, Control C, Control V, 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 V. Okay, so it does line wrap. Control A works. Context menu works. Context menu select all works. So what does not work is these items to select all. Let's hook it up. Save. Main menu, menu designer, edit, select all. Double click on select all. We'll create the event handler. And we go the name of the memo. Main memo. Dot select all. How do we do that? Okay. Save. Paste. Double click on paste. Main memo dot paste from clipboard. Control S. Copy. Main memo. Copy to clipboard. Control S. Cut. Main memo dot cut to clipboard. Okay, undo. Main memo dot undo. Okay, what else? New. Main memo dot clear. Like that. Open. Main memo dot there doesn't seem to be any built-in file open dialog for main memo. So we need to search. How do we do a file open dialog in Delphi? Delphi file open dialog. Advanced, accept the risk and continue. Delphi Basics was one of the most important websites for Delphi. Similar to W3 schools for JavaScript, for instance. Okay, so it says you create it, you give it a initial directory, open. Looks okay. Let's copy everything. Control V. So we need a variable of the correct type. It's called open dialog correct. No spaces before colon. Create. I don't need no extra comments. The open dialog. Set up the initial directory to be the current one. I don't know if this is needed or not. Get current dir is a function. Open files. Why not? Okay, it's an interesting option. Okay. What extension? We need everything because any file could be opened in most files could be opened in text editors, not just text files. Files with the extension .txt. Okay, I don't need this. Display. If execute. Okay. Then always have a begin end. Okay, the end ends here, and the begin for the else block starts here. Control S, and now free. In Delphi, it's really easy to leak memory because either you forget to call free, or the execution flow steps throws an exception or something such that open dialog.free is never called. Okay, we have the file name. Then we store the file name, so we need a private member field of type string, file path. Okay. Let's fully qualify it. Self.control-v gets open dialog.file name. Okay. And then let's store inside of the main memo the text. Delphi read all text. T-file read all text. Control dot. How do we fix this issue? Okay, so we can put it either in the uses of the interface or in the uses of the implementation. So we use the uses of the interface just for things that appear in the interface section. But since T-file exists just in the implementation section, then it's a better option to use it here. Okay. Let's put a breakpoint in here just in case. Read all text. What does read all text do? Returns a string and text. Where is the text property? F7 to build errors. Yes, it requires the name of the file. Control V, Control S, F7, F5. So we have file new, file select all, file copy, file cut, file paste, file undo, everything works. File open. Okay, we're inside of the debugger. Current directory is the debug directory. Okay. If open, then begin. Execute. Let's open this. Yes. No. We need a text file in here. So right click. New text file A. Open. Okay. So the name is correct. It's the full path of the txt file is stored in the member variable of which is private, and then we put the lines which is nothing in there. Okay, and we don't need this show message anymore. Control S. These things, Control S. Okay, the next thing that we need is to put some text in the file a.txt, this guy, F4. Control S. Stop the debugger. Program reset. And now we run it without debugging. Control F5. File open. Correct. The new lines were killed. Why is that? Because they're not Linux, they're Linux new lines. Okay, how do we change those? End of lines conversion to CRLF. Control S. File open again. Okay, and now because it has Windows new lines, \r/\n, they're shown as 3 lines. Okay, so then last thing that remains to do is to implement save as. Everything else works correctly. Okay, so let's do that. Main form. In the Projects Explorer, double click on the DFM. Right click on the main menu, menu designer. File save as, double click on save as. And the exact same thing for file open. And including the variable. Control V. So this is, we need to refactor, rename it. Save dialog. And then press on this apply refactoring Control R button. Okay, this is the save dialog. Okay, create initial directory. This thing is not okay. Okay, save dialog, execute. We choose the file name and then we do the reverse. So we do tfile dot write all text to a path which is string file self file path, and then the buffer, the content of the file, which is this thing. Control V. Okay. Control S. The last run, file open. We don't need a debugger. F5 a.txt. We fix this bug, so it's a.txt, the same line, and then we go file save as, and we name it b.txt, save, file open a.txt, file open b.txt. So everything works correctly. I'll exit. I'll do a last git commit. So the menu items now have correct name and an event handler implemented for the onClick method. I agree with that. Correct names for menu items, the event handlers for onClick, file path which stores where the name of the full path of the file that's loaded in the notepad, uses inside of the implementation section, implementation for the copy, cut, exit, new, open with open dialog, undo, select all and paste, and the last one, save as menu item. Okay, so Win32 should be excluded from the git ignore. Control F, Win32. There's no such thing. So we need Win32 slash to be excluded. Control S, rescan. We ignore the build directory, the directory where artifacts are being created, Win32. Okay. Final commit. So this is it. Thank you.